We are the Catalan Independentist Resistance, and you are listening to a new update from Radio Hadrian in Free Catalonia.
I can't wait 300 years more to recover freedom. And you? Lluís Botinas Montells. This is David Rabantos. This is chapter 46 in Radio Hadrian on its English language version. As always, thanks so much to Cheryl Scott and K Radio for this opportunity. We dedicate this program to Lluís Botinas because he has been attacked by the unionist and anti-Catalan newspaper El Mundo. Lluís Botinas is mentioned here in this program for 3 reasons. One, and let's say it this way, he's my friend. And it's not because he's my friend that I speak about him. And actually in Catalonia, most people who talks about Puigdemont and the rest of governments are friends because they've been put there. Like Vicent Partal, the director of VilaWeb, a relevant newspaper, and everybody else, they're all friends. So they speak about friends. They don't say they're friends, but they help each other. Because journalists in Catalonia are almost as bad as politicians in betraying us. But Lluís Botinas was there, was the only other person was Amadeu Clavel. Lluís Botinas spoke about my kidnapping and my torture, while nobody else did in Catalonia, because everybody else in Catalonia is an accomplice of me being silenced. And he, in a small program in Radio La Mina, he talked about me. And he helped me. He even spoke with my family when I came out. For 3 months I was a vegetable, and hadn't it been for Delia, Gerard, Luis, Carlos, Pera, I wouldn't have managed and this program wouldn't exist. But Luis is dedicating the last years to tell us how the Catalans were 300 years ago and how we should come back to that, and telling about the Catalan genocide on the hands of Spain. That's one field. But for 20-something years, he's been investigating about the truth about AIDS, cancer, and other things. He's a fighter for truth. And he's been attacked, and in this newspaper, El Mundo, which is known for lying and for lying against Catalans, he's been insulted, and they lied, saying that he has been banned from a fair which is about earth products and stuff that happens this weekend in Barcelona, and to which we will attend. And they also know that he's a good friend of ours. So they know that by attacking him, they get us in a predicament, because either we defend a person that is intelligent, compromised, free-thinking, courageous, and one of the best persons I have ever met, or we do the right thing and defend them. But if we do that, we're opening ourselves to attack because his opinions are controversial in very serious things. But for me, that's no dilemma, because the moment we stop giving voice to those without voice, the minute we stop fighting for the truth, and the time we stop following our conscience, I might as well be dead. So here I am, and every time that they attack some of us, we will say it. And forgive me, you normally suffer my less than perfect level of English, but today we're gonna go one step farther, because Lluís has studied for 20 years the truth about AIDS, and the truth about AIDS is contrary to what most people believe, the same way as most people don't know that the Scottish referendum was rigged with the help of the SNP. Most people don't know the truth about 9/11. They don't know the truth about most false flag. They think that Catalan leaders work for independence, and so on. So the truth about AIDS is very different from what they've told us, and I want to translate what he has said in defense, because nobody else would give him a voice, I'm afraid. So we do that. Summary of the AIDS deception. I believe the official version for 10 years, from 1981 to 1991. Step by step, and leaving a lot of friends and acquaintances on the way, I started questioning every point in the official version about AIDS. I invite everybody and all the authorities to quote the original reference articles that prove that AIDS is an illness, that the VIH has been isolated, that the VIH is transmitted by sex or syringe or from mother to son or by blood transfusions, to prove that tests are reliable, that what we call viral load or viral charge really means the amount of exemplars of VIH, that the treatment are necessary, that they're not chemotherapy, that they're worth. My advantage is that I come from where they are. Actually, they are very well positioned in the other field. And the conclusion is the title of my book that I have published. I have a 3 times better one calling Debunking the AIDS. The AIDS is not an illness to treat, not even alternatively. It's a setup made in USA that we should debunk. It can be unloaded for free in the website of Plural.21, www.plural-21.org. So from this lie, and what is serious is that the guy that has lied about him in a lying newspaper like El Mundo, it's a certain Javier Oms. This guy who has lied blatantly, saying that the mayor has banned Lluís and Plural 21 from, he is a professor in the Open University in Catalonia, the distance learning university in Catalonia, and he is in charge of journalistic redaction. Well, this guy shouldn't be teaching nobody, not a second more. Proven liars shouldn't be allowed. It's the same thing he accuses Lluís is what he's doing. He is lying to people that are going to be future journalists. So that shouldn't be allowed. Another thing that has gone on this week is to do with one of the most important things going on in the world, which is the war at Syria. We already denounced that TV3, the Catalan television, had lied to everybody, giving the chemical attacks for a fact, and saying that the NGO White Helmets had confirmed it. And we said here last week that White Helmets are no such thing. There's this wonderful video from the Canadian journalist Eva Barnett that explains how the Syrian observers for human rights or White Helmets are nothing but working for Western countries. And but the development is that Roger Waters in Barcelona, somebody wanted to make a speech against the chemical attack, and what he said, he gave his own version, and he said, if it's not proven it's a chemical attack, and we should stop believing the propaganda distributed by mainstream media, the White Helmets are anything but a non-governmental organization, and we should stop believing the propaganda that only wants to convince us that we should bomb away innocent people like we are. Well, Roger, we agree totally with the ex-leader of the mythical Pink Floyd. Or Rogers, how we wish you were here. This week we also bumped into Francesc Marc Álvaro. For you not living in Catalonia, he's a famous panelist. He writes everywhere. He's on television, radio, everywhere. He's a university teacher, but basically he sides with the traitors that have organized this fake process that won't bring independence. And I challenged him, and I wanted to give him a flyer of Radio Hadrian, and when he asked my name, he really changed his face. And I said that, well, I told him that he was collaborating with spreading the lies. He said, oh, you don't know. I said, well, I have your book. He wrote the book saying we've won. Well, we haven't won, have we? But 2 years ago or something, he already wrote the book saying we've won. The cheeky guy. And when I challenged him, I said, why should you argue, as you do in your book and everywhere, that we should do a Scottish-style referendum when the Scottish-style referendum was rigged? And then he ran away. And that's something that has happened to me at least 5 times with the likes of Jordi Basté, Antoni Bassas, Vicent Partal, Vicent Sánchez, Joan Pons. These 5 people are on the top 10. They're newspaper directors, television director, director of VilaWeb, and 2 top journalists, one in radio and one in newspaper. All of them, they start trying to lie to me, but when I expose the flaws in their argument, they literally run away. And that's also that links us with the truth about AIDS that Lluís Botinas has been defending. I don't remember the name, but some specialist was asked about some of the points that don't make sense in AIDS that Lluís has exposed before. And then he looked one way, he looked the other way. And when he realized there was no cameras, he made a run of it. And that's how it goes. We don't get offered any truth in Catalonia, and when you challenge them on the street, they run away from you because they don't want people hearing what you have to say, so they have to break the contact and physically run away. Walking this week, I came out with yet one another of the tremendous signs that we've been deceived. The question here is, we've already proven in this program by 75 different ways, more or less, how all our leaders are traitors, we're being deceived, and we play in the hands of our enemies. But people don't want to open their eyes. But we're gonna give yet another evidence that everything is a lie. I was walking and I bumped into two big banners asking for the freedom of Catalan, let's call them political prisoners. We know different because we know they're actors working for Spain. And then I see a gigantic yellow ribbon. I mean, yellow is a color that has been used in the past to pinpoint those that should be exterminated because they belong to a minority that the power wanted to exterminate. And I took a look at this building, and this is the Ministry for welfare in Catalonia. And you say, bang. But supposedly everything in Catalonia is intervened by Spain. Everything is run by Spain. So you have something run by Spain allowing banners and this ribbon to criticize Spain. You're right. It's easier than that. It's all a farce. Otherwise, Catalan television couldn't do the programs they do, defending Puigdemont and the rest and attacking Spain. Because Catalan television budget comes, even when it's our money and they steal money from Catalonia, the budget is controlled by Spain. So it's all a farce. In the same way of farce, there's an imaginary village of San Esteban de las Rouras that the same newspaper this Javier Oms has lied against Lluís Botinas we mentioned before. Lied saying, well, it's the same newspaper that lied saying that 11th of March in Madrid was ETA, which is a lie. And they have lied saying that the people of San Esteban de las Rouras has attacked the Spanish Guardia Civil. And that is so blatant that a lot of people now are making fun of that. There's 200 profiles in social media saying that they're the golf club of San Esteban de las Rouras, that they're the tennis club, political parties, newspapers, the town hall, more than 200, even nightclubs. And all this, and you come to the conclusion that it's all organized by Spain. If the Spanish newspaper that invented this was in a Francoist dictatorship, that means everybody knows, nobody could contend. So you can use a blatant lie like that. But when you live in a fake democracy like Catalonia is, where Spain runs both sides, the unionist side and the official independentist side, when you do this, you know that the other side is going to capitalize on it. So there's no mistake. It's done on purpose. So now the Spanish secret services are running all these fake profiles that are so well organized. And there's people being paid to do this. We know doing things for independence is very difficult. We've tried for 4 years. It cost us more than 4 years to set up our party, Director 68. Everything that happens immediately and well organized is Spanish run. So we should stop laughing. It's not funny. Hundreds and thousands of Catalan pro-indie people are wasting their time in this thing that is run by Spain. It's supposedly is mocking Spain for using an imaginary town hall, but it's actually Spain mocking us, pretending that it's us mocking them. So be excellent, because if we're excellent, we'll be independent. Otherwise, we won't. It's no time for jokes. It's not time for puns. It's time for unveiling the deception and marching towards independence. We've had a lousy interview in TV3. Catalan President Carles Puigdemont has lied and has used all kind of idiotic arguments and mentioning things that only the low levels of intelligence and culture can agree to. But that's the way to keep in power, because the way things are organized, You don't need to gather to the best prepared, the more free-thinking people. You just need to gather for the most. And that's what they do time and again. To go reaching the end this week, there's been a meeting between Nicola Sturgeon and former Catalan President Artur Mas. And some uninformed person, they might think that it's too pro-indie people, but the contrary is the truth. And I know that Nicola Sturgeon enjoys a rock star position in Scotland, but the truth and the hard truth is she didn't stop the Scottish referendum rigging. She presided over an overall majority in Holyrood and didn't declare independence. And she's had 56 out of 59 members of Westminster from Scottish Protestants and hasn't declared independence. So the sad truth is she is the person that has done more to avoid Scottish independence probably in the last 300 years. That are facts. I'm not blinded by cognitive dissonance. So the fact is the person that has done more. She has talked a lot about independence, but she has done the most to avoid independence is Nicola Sturgeon. On the other side, we have Artur Mas. Artur Mas is the opposite. Well, it's the equivalent, not the opposite, it's the equivalent. He made an opinion poll 4 years ago when he should have made a referendum, and that makes him the person that has damaged independence more. So it's not two pro-indie people gathering, it's two moles comparing what they should keep doing to keep Catalonia and Scotland colonized by UK and Spain. The same way as other meetings with Puigdemont and Salmon, they both work for London and Madrid. The same way as Angus Brendan McNeil and Anarque, or Amer Anwar, or Clara Ponsatí, or Joan Vives, or Anarque, or Elisenda Pelosi, or Shona McAlpin, or Stephen Noon, or Humza Yousaf. These people gather together and they're very friends one with another because they have something in common. What they have in common is that they are undercover agents. What they have in common is not that they have interest in the independence of Catalonia nor Scotland. Something relevant, and we'll call it here. Well, first, also mention that Ada Colau, this invention that has been put as the mayoress in Barcelona to murder independence from within, has had two flops this week. One, in a change of name, he accused of being fascist a Spanish military that died 10 years before fascism was even invented. But that's the kind of thing when she's addressing the more dispossessed people, people that hasn't had lots of opportunities in life and doesn't go to this fine-tuning of these things. It's something that is ridiculous and it should be enough for her to quit, but of course she's not going to quit. And the other big thing of this Ada Colau, a lot of people call her Frau Colau, not because it rhymes not as woman in German, but Frau because it means fraud. They made a big fuss, and it's the same thing I think Alex Salmond did. They cut back their salaries, and that makes people to love them more, but maybe they get paid kickbacks when we don't see. But anyway, the big fuss about they cut down their salaries, but then it comes that instead of this cut, instead of going to social causes, 81% of that money reverts in their own party. So it's two reasons for shame, the big flop and lying to people about what to do with money. There are enough reasons for Ada Colau to quit. You say the lies, and more lies is the chapter of this chapter because this fake village is a lie. Nicola Sturgeon and Mas are liars. The journalists are lying to us. They lied to us about Spain controlling everything. They lied to us about Syria. We have lying journalists like the ones I mentioned. And we have a lying newspaper lying about AIDS and Lluís Botinas. To top it off, ETA has announced they're gonna dismantle themselves. And that, well, we won't go into the total issue, but we'll say that as we explained here, ETA was part of the Gladio operation organized by NATO. ETA has served NATO at least twice. One by finishing Carrero Blanco, which was the number 2 of Franco, who didn't want to join NATO. So after 6 hours meeting with Henry Kissinger, the next day he gets murdered by ETA, but the information to ETA was given by NATO. So ETA forms part of this Gladio operation, the same as IRA, Brigade Rose, and Baader-Meinhof in Germany, the Rote Army fraction, form part of what. And now we're living But now they're not necessary anymore because, as the ex-translator for the FBI, Sybil Edmonds, has explained, we're living now in Gladio B times, where all Al-Qaeda and Islamic State and all this are the evolution of this Gladio A, and all of them are financed by Western countries to keep us scared, and so they have excuses to commit genocide where they want to. And related to this, but not exactly, there's 8 young people in Navarra, that are facing 50 to 60 years for terrorism, for a tumult, a riot inside the bar. Some of them have been 1.5 years there for attacking some Guardia Civiles. The same Guardia Civiles that have been torturing people in Spain for years. The same Guardia Civiles that occupation army in Euskal Herria, because the Basque Country is not Spain. So Spanish Guardia Civil, they have nothing to do there. And they have been 1.5 years in prison, some of them. They haven't been allowed to present their own witnesses. The identification round was amazing because they were in the middle of people that they didn't look like them at all. And what is more blatant, one of the guys has evidence that he was somewhere else when that happened. And there's even television images because he was in a Pelota Vasca game. So the terrorist clearly in Basque Country is Guardia Civil and not the other way around. And now they're trying to destroy the life of some people because the Spanish penal code got tightened, because now they can call everything terrorism. Okay, so if next week I'm not here, it's because Spain has decided that I do terrorism for trying, because there's nothing more revolutionary than telling the truth in a world so full of lies. We are gathering strength. While you hear this, we've already been gathered a group of resistance which doesn't stop growing. We have the documentary getting ready, we have the party, I'm preparing a book, we're setting up a digital newspaper, and we are winning this. We're gonna win. Visca Catalunya lliure.
This has been another update from the Catalan Independentist Resistance from Radio Hadrian. Remember that you can follow us on social media, either on Facebook, YouTube, our Twitter account, Instagram, Google, Telegram, and also on iVoox.